Hey everyone! So in this video I'm actually going to set up my drip system. So I know I made kind of part one of this video yesterday when it was 50 degrees. Now it's 80 degrees because that's how this spring has been going. So I already gave you kind of a tour of my current setup with my drip. So what I'm going to do today is extend the Proven Winners drip system to the pots that I know are in their relatively permanent places but don't have a drip. And then I'm going to basically set up the other Carpathian system from scratch because that one wasn't in the garden last year. So I'm going to start with Proven Winners because that one I'm just going to add some pieces to. So basically, I have my little basket here and I just have the tubing, I have the little stakes slash the bobby pins I'm going to be using because I don't have enough stakes. I have the T-bars, and I have the little drip emitters. I also just realized I have to grab my pruners because that's what I use to cut the tube. But at least in this video I will be able to show you exactly how I expand and set up my drip kit. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you do with the Proven Winners kit, and it's pretty similar on the Carpathian kit as well, is you just make a cut in this tube where you want to extend some drip. So I'm just going to cut that right there. Then you want to put in one of these little T-bars. They also have, let me actually grab it, the crossbar. So I would put this in the tube if I wanted to extend a drip that way and this way. But since I only need a drip coming one direction, that's why I'm going to use the T-bar. And I find myself using, at least in my garden, a T-bar more often. I think if I had a more like wide open space, then maybe I would use the X-bar. But you just put 1/2 into this tube. And at first, I feel like this can be a little bit hard to get in there. I find it's easiest to twist it. It's also easier if you wet this T-bar first, or it's also easier if it's very, very hot outside, just because I think that expands the tubing a little bit and makes it just a little bit more pliable. But so now I have it in one end here. Now I just gotta stick it in the other end here. And I think that looks pretty good. Now I need to add more tubing to wherever I want the emitter to go and stick the emitter in. The drip itself comes in a very long spool of it. I find it's easiest to kind of gauge the length I want, which is not that far. So maybe I'm going to snip here and then put the emitter in. I'm going to put the emitter in this end. So now it looks like that, and then the other end of the tube has to hook up to the T-bar. And if you end up like this, where you can see like the drip here, it's at the top of the circle. If I want it on the bottom, I can just simply spin the emitter around. Now I need to take one of the stakes, stick it here on the tube, and that holds it in place. Now I only had 2 of those left, so now I have 1 left. So what I'm going to attempt to do to see if I can get away with not ordering more is use one of these hairpins. So let me just, you know what, I think that'll work because they're not so small width-wise that they kink the tube or anything like that. So maybe I can get away with it. We'll see how the hairpins actually turn out. Next, I need to extend, again from the main tube, to this grow bag with my eggplant. I already have a drip set up to the pepper. There's a drip set up to the green beans. Now what I'm pretty sure is dead grape plant is still over here. Even though I might remove it, I will put something back in this pot, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna leave this pot here. So I might as well set up drip to it now anyways, just to have it set up for if I do end up putting something else into that pot. So here's this setup. I used actually one of the crossbars here, so I made a cut in the tube right here, used the crossbars because I wanted to run 2 lines of drip. Now I could have just used a T-bar, ran it here, cut, used another T-bar, ran it over there, but if I can do 1 X-bar instead of 2 T-bars and save pieces, I will do that. So this one runs down here into the eggplant, this one is here into what is now the grape plant, and I actually used the hair tie, or the hairpin. It seems to be holding it in place. So let's see what I need to add next. I'm going to do this flower box next with my Morning Glory. So this one only has 1 emitter. Again, there wasn't a plant here last year, but the tube is behind it. And just because this container is wider, even though it's not a very large container, because it's so wide, I just want to add 1 more drip here to make sure I have good coverage. So I actually think I'm going to switch to the Carpathian system now because I want to get my herbs all set up on drip today, but I don't know if I have enough of the proven winners or if I want to extend the proven winners that far, especially because I'm not using a ton of the Carpathian. So I think if I can use some of that on my herbs, that would work out. So let me kind of show you what is already in the garden for the Carpathian system. Now, one of the differences between Carpathian and proven winners is that the main tube for Carpathian is 3/8 of an inch, whereas proven winner it's all 1 tube, that's a 1/4 inch. Here the main tube is 3/8, and I was afraid that it wouldn't really fit in between the grooves of my deck like the 1/4 inch does when I run it, you know, from one wall to the center, but this doesn't look too bad. Just kind of keep that pushed down. I have it running from underneath the hose, and this is a little bit raised up so it's not like crushing it, so that the water flows through. And then I just have this pot on it, which, let me see if this one looks like it's crushing it or not. It's flattening a little bit, so maybe I will move that off of it. So right now it's running under the bed. I want to see if I can get something maybe to tack it along this wall. And last year I had 4 melon plants on the back deck, which is where this was. So here, when you cut the tube, the 3/8 inch tube, instead of just a small T-bar, you use one of these larger, I don't know what the things are called, thingamajigs. And then there's some that have just 2, if you only want 2 going out in the different directions, and then this one has 4. So I already have 4 emitters here. This also comes with an end, but since I'm now going to be extending this, I'm going to take the end off. But this one kind of ends up right in the middle of this center bed, and I think that'll be good if I need to set up these pots on drip or these pots. Let me show you which pots I'm talking about so you can actually see what's in them. So on the back of the bed I have my 2 rhubarb and my aronia berry, which I also threw my random aster flowers in as well, just to see if they fit in that pot. Now these pots are typically large enough, they're similar size to my blueberry and raspberry, that I maybe only water them once a week, and one of these, I can't remember which one, is self-watering. I think this one, so it has a reservoir on the bottom. So I wouldn't want to add drip to that one. I don't know if I'm going to need drip here at all, so I'm going to wait on that. Then coming around the front, so these 4 pots, I'm trying to remember if I had to water them every day last year. I know I didn't have drip set up to them, but these get shade pretty much all afternoon, so they also don't dry out as fast as everything else which gets watered every day. So I think I'm going to leave kind of that center section there with the 4 emitters, and then we'll see if I need them, and if so I'll use them, and if not I'll keep them turned off. One benefit of this system compared to the Proven Winners drip is that, let's say I don't want to use a certain drip on the Proven Winner system, there's no way to kind of turn that drip off or stop water from running out of them. Whereas with this one, if I don't have this one, let's say, hooked up to a plant, like I'm not going to right now, so I don't want water coming off of it, I just need to twist it all the way down, and now no water will come out of this. So that is kind of nice to have on hand because I don't always need all of the drips that I have set up, or maybe I don't want it running to a certain plant on a certain day, so I can just turn it off. You also decrease or increase the amount of water by twisting it up. So higher up you get it, the more water is going to come out in a larger circle. So I've gone ahead and removed this piece of tubing from the other end of this little piece because this is the piece that says I'm at the end of my drip system, I don't want it to run anymore, so this is an end cap that stops water from continuing. Since I'm going to be extending this drip kit, I've taken this off. I will save it for when I get to the end of my new run, and I'm going to add more of this 3/8 tube here that's going to extend underneath my raised bed. So how this one works is a little bit different. I don't just jam the tube in, but I go ahead and unscrew this cap. I take the end of the new drip, put it on like this, twist it on similar to the other one, and then I come back in and screw this back on. So it's a little bit more secure than the Proven Winner system. So now I'm gonna run this whole thing underneath the bed and come out on the other side. I've extended the drip underneath the bed, coming up here, and put another one of these pieces on. So now what I'm going to do is grab the 1/4 inch tube, and that's what you put on these little extenders here, and then you add the drip, or the thing that actually lets the water out, to the end of the 1/4 inch tubes. So I'll set that up and then show you what it looks like. Here's what I went with, and I realized a bird has taken a dump on my raised bed, which seems rather rude, but I went ahead and extended 2 of the 1/4 inch drip lines over here, put in a T-bar. Oh, and I did look up, these are called couplers. I feel like I knew that. Coming over here, cut T-bar, more tubing into this emitter here, which again, these have stakes built in, which is nice. Coming over and extending here and ending there. And then I just did the same exact thing on the other side. So tubing running there, cut T-bar, 1 emitter, over there 1 emitter. Now last year I used Proven Winners in this bed, so I had 6 strips. These, because they put out a lot more water, I'm only using 4, and I will do a test run in just a bit and see what the coverage looks like, but I feel like I'll be good here with 4. So now what I'm going to do is basically extend 1/4 inch from this other side and try to get some of these herbs hooked up to this system. All right, I've made a mess, but let me show you what I have going on so far. So first thing, I swapped out, so there's 2 different emitters that come with Carpathian, one called Vortex and one called Stream. And apparently the Stream puts out more water, so I thought it would make sense to have the Stream in the bed. I don't love the green caps that stand out, but these should be tall enough, fast enough that they will cover up the actual drip system. I think that's one of the benefits of the Proven Winners drip kit, is that you can actually cover that entire thing with mulch and it'll still drip just fine, whereas these, because it sprays out, I have a feeling you're not supposed to cover them all with mulch, but I don't know that for sure. So down here, out the back, I have 2 tubes flowing down to the herb garden, and I haven't set all the herbs up yet because I kind of want to see which system I like better. But then I have one running here into this pot, and this pot. Bottom row here, no drip yet. Coming up here, the Proven Winners system, and these are the tubes that used to be in that center raised bed, is over here. And then on this side, I basically did the same thing. So a drip tube running from there, in here, here, and here. So what I'm gonna do now is turn on the Carpathian system and see if it runs. And assuming everything kind of works as it should, the last 3 herbs that would need drip would be these 3. So fingers crossed, nothing explodes when I turn it on. Okay, so water is running. The coverage here is pretty good. I think I just realized I forgot to put one of the streamers in there, so I will fix that. But I like the level of coverage that this is getting in the bed. I probably will, you know, play around with this a little bit up and down, but it seems like it's hitting everywhere it needs to hit. Coming down here, again, these I toggled all the way down to off, so those are off. I do want to show that for the herb, I've kind of turned them down so that they become more like a drip system. I think I like the idea of a drip more in this one, so that's probably what I'm going to do for all of them that are in the herbs. I also just turned on the Proven Winner system, which I knew I tested that yesterday and everything seemed to be working, but I just want to take a look at the new ones that I added. And they all seem to be emitting water, so that is a good sign. So I'm going to stop there for now. I do feel like I would prefer to have the Proven Winner's drip in all of my herbs. And I think I have enough pieces, I just don't know if that'll be overextending it. So I'm gonna live with the Carpathian in the herbs for a few days. I actually don't really have to run my drip that often right now, or really at all automatically, so I might let it run for a couple times. I'll see how it does. There definitely is a difference in the time that I run it, so the Proven Winners I think was 20 to 30 minutes during like the peak of summer. Carpathian I think was 5 minutes. I might even start with 3 minutes and see if that's enough for all of the containers that I have it hooked up to. So we'll just kind of see, play around. It's kind of like putting together a puzzle and seeing what works, but it is nice to have, I mean, almost everything that I think really would benefit from drip set up on drip. There is some stuff that, you know, maybe on this cart here would be nice to have some drip set up too. I might be able to make that happen, we'll see. But having the majority of my garden that's in the full sun is just such a relief. So I will keep you updated on any changes that I make to the setup, and I will see you in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.